Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's review, I'm super excited to take a look at the BlackMyth Wukong action figure from InArt. This is a 1/12 scale figure brought to you by InArt and Queen Studios. So the front, pretty basic, just says BlackMyth Wukong. Has some of the decorations there from the game box and the game itself. On the side, InArt 1/12 scale action figure. On the back, a bunch of nothing really, some legal stuff. This is the premium version. I do have another version ordered from Bombasby that's like has a Bombasby exclusive accessory. No clue what that is, but excited to see it. But let's get this guy open and finally take a closer look. And here he is out of his packaging in all his glory, and man, this guy looks incredible in hand. He does have cloth, as you see here. Very nicely patterned, very nicely laid across the figure. Just looks like he came right out of the game. Has his armor on. I forgot what this armor version is called from the game, but it is very nice. The hands down there, you can see the sculpt and the paint on the fingernails, on the fur, the gradient on the palm, and the back of the hand. And then he comes in the box with the mask on. So like the accessory mask you can put on him, he does come in the box like this, but he does have a normal head. But taking a look at like his hair, very, very nice. I can't wait to buy all versions of this guy. And then coming down here to the legs, you can see his tail there has the two holes because it is bendy. And then coming down to the feet, nice gradient. The toenails on this aren't painted, but it does have a gradient on the end, so that's fine. But yeah, this is incredible. Love this figure. The aesthetics so far are incredible. So let's take a look at his articulation. So looking up, he can look up about that much. It's not bad. He can look down about that much. He does have a little side-to-side head tilt, and as you can see there, his neck is kind of moving. So you can get his head to move in any direction you want. You can turn it side to side too, and the neck moves as well. For the arms, this is the side without the cloth on it, but it does have the shoulder pauldron, so it looks like you can only get it up to about that much. For this side, it seems like it's about the same. There is a bicep swivel on both sides. The cloth doesn't hinder it. And then he does have, let me see if I can kind of rotate this carefully. But it looks like the only butterfly joint is like on a hinge of some sort. You got to kind of finagle it. So it's not really a butterfly joint, but he can just get his arms out in front of him. But you can kind of see here that the armor chest piece does move. When you try to move that butterfly joint, it looks better moving back. Doesn't really move forward that much. I mean, maybe you can like wiggle it around to kind of get it to squish in a bit, but that's as far as you're getting there. And then of course it does go back. And then for the waist articulation, he goes back about that much. Can crunch forward about this much. He does have a twist up at the top, and you can rock it all around. So it looks like it's on a ball joint. You do have double jointed elbows, which look pretty good. And that's on both sides, of course. And then for the hands, this does rotate, so the forearm gauntlet does rotate and move. And then you do have the ball hinge here at the wrist. And then for the lower abdomen here, just lifting this up, you can kind of see the mechanism there. I don't know if it has a drop down. Doesn't feel like it does, but he does have thigh swivel, as you can see there. It seems like it's on a ball joint actually. And then you can get him, actually this, because it's so cold, feels like it's actually a metal piece, like real metal down here for his legs. But you can get him to do the splits like this. He can kick up pretty far, so about that far. And then you do have the double jointed knees here, which actually go in about that much, or at least on my copy. It looks like it's stopped by these wrinkles here. And then you do have the knee pad here that can kind of move in and out. You don't really get a swivel down here, but for the foot, he can go down about that much. He can go up, not a lot, or not at all actually, just because of this the shin piece. And then for ankle rocker, you kind of get a little bit, And then his toes, so like the first toe over here is kind of individually articulated, and then you can push them up like that, and they can even go down. And then for the tail here, this was out in the cold, so it might be a little stiff, but you can curl it up using that bendy wire in the back. And then the clothes, I feel like they have a bendy wire, but maybe that's just the fabric just like folding up like that. But I don't see, feels like this might have a bendy wire up here, but it was just folded like that in the box. This down here, oh, it looks like it is kind of like a thin bendy wire, so you do have articulation in the clothes, so you can get it to display like that. And then these pieces here are just attached on like a little plastic flap. So while they can come out, you cannot like pose them in a specific way to be out like that. One thing, be careful when putting his knee back, like lift up this knee pad first, then put his leg back into a neutral position, and then, you know, put him back in a regular position so you don't end up breaking that off. But articulation is great. Love this. You can definitely get him in all types of poses that they displayed him in with the, you know, preview pictures. And I don't know what else I would really want. Maybe some more butterfly range, but I think that's just because of the armor that's really hindering it. So let's move on and take a look at his accessories. So the premium version comes with a ton of stuff. We'll start out with taking a look at the stand. So this is, I believe, the same type of stand the InArt Batman came with, just like this clear plastic with a bunch of rings on it. Has a bunch of portholes. And then it does come with the arm, very long arm, because you can, you know, stand him up on his staff. Has another attachment piece here. And then it does have like a little gripper piece, I guess a holding piece, maybe for his bow staff as well. And then speaking of his bow staff, he does come with that. It does come in pieces. This is metal on the end for the attachment. It is nicely sculpted and painted. So this is the middle piece, and then you have the two end pieces. So coming in here, very nicely sculpted. Has like a little monkey on there. At least it looks like a monkey. Then the green down there. And you can just attach that onto either end of the stick. It comes with two of those, and then he does have this piece here, which you can make the staff smaller if you want to, which is very cool. He does come with this accessory, which is I think it's like a talisman that you can equip in the game. It gives them extra perks, so you do get that, which is very nice. You can have him hold it. He comes with his gourd, which is very cool. Very nicely painted and sculpted again. And then he does come, which I think this piece is like a, I can't remember what this is. Like, I beat the game, but I can't remember what this is. It's been like a little bit. This might be like a special like power-up medicine, but if anybody knows down in the comments below or remembers what it is, please let me know. But yeah, it comes with this, which is pretty cool. He does have one extra face sculpt, which is this one. Very clean. You can see the gloss right there in his eyes. Nice gradient on the face, like he looks like he just stepped out of the game. Nice gradient on the hair. This is probably the face I'm going to display him with. Take off the mask one, but yeah, this is great. And then he does come with a ton of hands. So he comes with this pair of like pinching hands or plucking hands. I guess you can make it look like he's pulling the his bow staff out from behind his ear. Or Yuji Bang, power pole, whatever you want to call it. He does have a pointing finger there. It's like saying like, you get over here, or you can use it for like a, you know, come here finger like that. Comes with a pair of those. Comes with a pair of gripping hands. Comes with a pair of fists, because the hands he has on him are wide open, kind of like relaxed hands. Comes with another pair of just kind of like slightly clenching hands that you can put on him to do whatever you want. And then he has a pair of kind of like claw attack type hands, which you can use, which are pretty cool. And then for the premium version, you do get this really cool effect piece. So it's like a swish, like he's smacking someone with the, you know, with his weapon. Has the mold there at the top of the weapon, and then it kind of curves down in this arc. You get 2 of these, so you can put them on either side, which is super cool. And then it does come with this little stand piece that you can use with it. So all the stand pieces kind of combine. So you'll have, you know, the Destined one on one stand, and then you'll have the attack pieces on another. And those are all of his accessories. I don't know what else I could want besides whatever the Bombasby exclusive stuff is. But this is incredible. Maybe I would have liked to have like an unmasked attacking face, like a yelling face would be cool. Because he does yell a lot in the game. He doesn't say much, but he does yell a lot. That would have been nice, but maybe other versions of the Destined one will come with different faces like that. Let's move on to some size comparisons. For size comparisons, here he is standing next to an SH Figuarts Vegeta and an SH Figuarts Full Power Super Saiyan Son Goku. You know, a character inspired by Journey to the West. Goku does stand, at least it looks like he stands close to his height, but that's just because of his hair. But you could definitely fit this guy in and do some cool Dragon Ball Z displays, battles, crossovers, whatever you want to do. It'll look pretty neat. And then here he is next to his buddy Baiji. I mean, if you buy one, you gotta kind of get the other. I have to go back and look in the game, but I'm like, was he kind of this large compared to the Destined one? I don't know, something about it. I mean, I feel like his head is maybe a little too big, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's perfect scale. Haven't played the game in a hot minute, so I'd have to go back and look. But regardless, I think they look great together. One thing I am wondering is why they didn't go the full cloth method on his outfit, since they can do it partially on his. Maybe he's just too small, I guess. I don't know. But either way, they look very good. The details on both are immaculate and they match. You definitely tell they come from the same line, the same game. And yeah, very cool. You can definitely even give the Destined one the green orb that Baiji comes with and his accessories. So definitely something to pick up. Get one, you should probably get the other. And then here he is standing next to another animal-based character, so the TMNT movie NECA Leonardo. And then here he is standing next to a monster you can put him up against for about 25 bucks, which is the Mummy from Scooby-Doo. Again, he scales pretty nicely with these guys. Leo is still pretty tall, but the Destined one is pretty tall as well, so I think you can get some cool interactions there. And then for some Jada Street Fighter stuff, here he is standing next to the Jada Street Fighter DJ and the Jada Street Fighter Cammy. Again, he stands pretty much the same height as DJ, so you can definitely mix and match him with this line as well if you want some Street Fighter versus Wukong action. And then here you have him standing next to the Mayfex Ben Affleck Batman and then the Figma Inosuke from Demon Slayer. If you want to mix and match with any of the lines from Figma or Mayfex, he'll scale probably pretty nicely, although Inosuke is going to be pretty short. Any normal Figma figure will look nice next to this guy as well. Last but not least, here he is standing next to a Marvel Legends animated series Spider-Man and a Marvel Legends Iron Man. He fits perfectly in with Marvel Legends displays, so if you want him next to Marvel Legends, you definitely can. Of course, the cartoony versus realistic look will clash, but you can definitely, you know, mix and match, and he's the perfect height. So for my final thoughts, I love this guy. Paint is on point. The construction of the cloth for the figure is on point. The articulation is really nice. Definitely didn't expect him to have metal pieces here on his legs. The only way I know that is because he was sitting outside in the cold, and these pieces got extremely cold. I also think maybe the parts on his arms might be metal too, because they, you know, are kind of cold to the touch as well. But the articulation is amazing. The paint and sculpt is amazing. If we didn't have to go through, you know, paying extra now for figures being imported, like InArt would be dominating the scene with how much they're able to get away with at such a low price point. And it makes me wonder, you know, how come companies, you know, that are domestic can't do the same thing. But yeah, definitely recommend this guy. I love BlackMyth Wukong, 100% of the game, and can't wait to get more figures in this collection. So let me know what you guys think down below. And as always, take care, be safe, and have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.